I'm jolly happy with that viaduct. But before I move on to the station canopy, I've got a little bit of mundane stuff to do. Let's get on with it. This evening, I've decided to do what I should have been doing a long time ago and have a look at the wheels on the train that won't go up the hill. Yes, they're all relatively free running, but they are rather mucky. So we're going to spend a minute or two cleaning wheels. These are really old carriages. It's the big old D couplings on the back of them. I actually saw somebody take these off, cut that off and turn it around. I don't know why the turnaround was a good idea, but I suppose it was because the junk from cutting them off went away. I don't see an advantage to cutting it off. Just a comment, we're often using pickups on each carriage these days, and we don't like running cables between them. But as I've said in a recent video, I did see recently just how many wires run between carriages in real life. Now these haven't been cleaned forever. Shadow's barking. No, that's Sparky. I wonder what he's barking about. Dust on the roofs even. Yeah. Now a couple of things. These particular axles have the metal axles with the insulated bush on both ends. So these would be interesting to try and use as pickups and would add drag. I do notice that we're very reluctant as modelers to put wires between carriages, and yet in real life even these had them. And I think I pointed out recently, I was watching a recent train go by, and there were just dozens, or it seemed like dozens, of wires going by. The other thing on top of these, I know what these are. A lot of people don't. They should have a little bit of silver foil or paint on the front of those. I know what they are because we used to ride in there, and they're periscopes. You can look out along the roof, and sometimes the guard would let us do that until he got fed up with us. All right, let's get these wheels cleaned. I love how I put the carriages on a piece of foam and then stack them so that if they fall over, they're going to knock into each other. So I'm going to move them out of the way and just have one at a time. But I think you can see they are pretty mucky. A certain other very well-known YouTuber calls this can of stuff a scoosh. It's not product placement or anything. I don't get a kickback, but this is the stuff I use. It's WD-40, but not the goopy stuff. It's the contact cleaner. It's quick drying. You can use isopropyl alcohol, but I have this, and what I do is put a bit these pointy Q-tips, shove one in the end, squirt it so it's all wet with it, and then use it to wipe the wheels. I'll show you. There you go. And then we just get on the wheels with it. Does it actually work? Oh yes, it does. Look at that goop coming off. That's one wheel. Ick. We haven't finished yet. Now all of this will certainly help, but I don't think this is the problem. These carriages are not particularly heavy. We will clean up the wheels, and I will pop a little bit of oil in the in there. I'm just looking, see if the axles, let me take this wheel set out. Sometimes you get a rather interesting surprise. Yeah, this one has. It's got all kinds of gunk around it. Oh, sorry, you didn't see that, but it had all kind of gunk around the the axle there, the bearing. So even though they feel very free rolling, I don't like taking them out because you have to splay the bogey to do it. But I will say that a little bit of a tiniest dab of oil on that thing probably will make a lot of difference. So let me get these cleaned up and see what it does. And you've shown up to have your ears rubbed, have you, Sparky, huh? You know there's treats in that drawer, don't you? Yeah, I know. Yeah. You can stay in there if you want to. He hides in that little bed. It's just about big enough for him. I think when he's fallen out with Shadow, he comes down there. Here's a question. Can you see this one is clean and shiny? This one is not. Now, you wouldn't think there was much difference. Okay, so there's some visible gunk there, and there's still a little bit on this. But look, this is one set of wheels, just one, and these are filthy. You might say, well, that doesn't really matter. That's one bogey. There's 8 bogies on this train. If they all just add a tiny bit, it adds up. Now, I'm going to clean them anyway. They should have been done a long time ago. But yeah, you can see this one's shiny, that one is not. There's all kinds of products out there. The only advice I can give you is avoid the abrasive ones because they scratch things up. Why do you clean these? Well, why do I use contact cleaner? Well, these are contacts. Very often we're using the metal of the wheels to pick up lighting power and who knows what else. It's also true that the rails, if we were, I suppose that stuff would work as a rail cleaner. I don't use it for that. But when you've got mucky carriage wheels or rolling stock wheels, it moves, it comes off, it came off on this. So it's going to come off on the rails. So it's just moving dirt from one place to another. So that isn't a good thing at all. Right, I will crack on, get a few of these done, and then we'll run the train to see, did it make a difference? I did notice the buffet car had been part of another train. I thought I cleaned them more recently than that, but look at this. Can you see I've got lumps of dirt hanging over the edge on this one? Look, it's great lumps of it. It's caked on. And it's coming off in lumps. That's got to slow things down, you would think. So we're going to start with that. A good cleaning. Yeah, that feels like rubber. May need to actually get some scrapey on that, but look at that. That's just that one wheel. That's filthy. Yeah, we'll get on with this, and when I'm done, we'll have a quick look, see if it made any difference at all. No more Mr. Nice Guy. There's a few anomalies. Look at this one. I have no idea what that is around it. But it feels like nylon. Some of them are ridiculous. Let me show you this one. Look at my fingers. Ick. Looks like it's got a running tire or a traction tire on it. So I am going to take a risk and throw these in the sonic cleaner. I've got one, why wouldn't I use it? It might be that it messes them up or something, I don't know, but these are terrible. Well, this was the rake of carriages that was hiding in the fiddle yard that I was worried about forgetting about. So they're fine. I've put a schools on the front. What I really need to do is run Winston Churchill up here, pulling the green carriages once I've cleaned the wheels, if we still have slippage. But this one is not having a problem. Somebody did suggest that I got a level, a straight edge, and put it on the track and see, has it sagged? It hasn't. I thought this would have. There's no give in that at all. I'm surprised. I thought there would be. I don't know what I did underneath this that's different to elsewhere on the layout. Can't remember. It might be that there's a lump of wood under it, but it hasn't budged, so that is perfectly flat. Well, the incline doesn't vary, if you know what I mean. I believe this is one of the two schools I have that needs traction tires, and I'm looking to see if it's on. It is. At least I think it is. My attitude to running it is that it's probably fine and I don't have a choice. Well, I mean, I have a choice. I could put it in a box and forget about it, but I cannot find traction tires. Peter Spares doesn't have them, Hornby doesn't have them, and nobody else does. There's a squeaky wheel on this one, I seem to remember, but it didn't have any trouble going up that hill. We could take a look at that locomotive at some point, since it's the one struggling, but let's get those wheels cleaned first. I'm going to run it light engine up the hill before I take a look at it. Oh, you were waiting for that, were you? Okay. Well, I've got other things to do, so you're going to have to go park yourself. It'll be along in a minute, and this is the place where it tends to have issues. Nope. What I've done is added a different rake of carriages. 3 of these are very free running and 1 is a little older. And we'll see what it does with those. This is just a good excuse to have a play with trains, isn't it? The issue usually starts right before the church. Not a problem. That tells us something. Quite what it tells us is undetermined, but I believe that these carriages are not causing a problem, and so if it's just dirty wheels, it'll be interesting, won't it? But we're going to attack it one thing at a time. Now, in this particular platform, this train will stop 1 carriage too soon. We know about that, but I'm only changing one thing at a time. Lovely scene right there. Yeah, there we go. It'll ease forward a little bit, but it will stop with 1 carriage sticking out of the back. So the next thing is to go and see if the sonic cleaner's done its job. That's a racket, and I expect the camera's picking up more of a racket. We can peep inside though. there we have a pile of ultrasonically cleaned wheels, and yes, it did work. One other thing I'm going to just check is back-to-backs. I don't think there's a problem, but I'm checking. If I find anything, I'll let you know. So now the task of fitting wheels. Need a crane, don't I? So these just pop in the bottom. A little bit awkward to do, but I will manage, I'm sure. They don't feel any different than they were before, but they shouldn't, because the dirt's there. It's just this exercise is really just, does dirt stop the train moving? Now, of course, it's going to add drag, and they were pretty dirty, but I don't think it's going to make a difference. It might. I suppose if there was dirt on the bearings, it would make a big difference, but I don't know how you would get dirt on those. Just having a feel. That one looked dull. Feels a bit rough. Let me just have that one is different than the rest. A little bit coming off, but nothing much. 4 more to go. What do you think, people? What's going to happen? Anything? I did check the back-to-backs, and they were all more or less where they needed to be. Why is this one not going in? Last 2. I mean, I could use T-cut or something to really polish them up. The trouble with T-cut, I mean, it's great stuff, but you really do have to make sure you get it all off again afterwards. Right. Bit of dampness there. Let's put these on the track and see what happens. Okay, one more lap with the red carriages. All right, it's test time. Let's see what happens. So nothing more than cleaning and putting them back. I think I've said in previous videos that if ever I make another layout, there will be no inclines. That or a much better cleaning regime. Do you see that? Now that is fascinating. The only difference was an ultrasonic bath for those wheels. Somebody asked me what the red flashing light is in the tunnel. It's a, you see it there, you can see it very clearly at some angles. It's to do with one of the electronic circuits that is providing timing to the runway. I think it does the runway lights. That is fascinating. No changes, nothing other than cleaning. Well, did we learn something tonight? I did. Yes, interesting. I shall have to clean some other wheels. I'm not sure if there's a drawback to throwing them in the ultrasonic cleaner. I wondered about glue that holds the wheels on the shaft, but I think that's a press fit, so I don't think that would be a problem. But yeah, I can't think of another reason why you wouldn't just lob them in the cleaner once in a while, other than I don't like taking them in and out of the bogie as often as that. I think we've got a guest because both dogs are running around like lunatics upstairs and it's rather late for guests. So I shall have to go and see what that's about. Both of the spam cans have been out for a little jaunt tonight, as has the Class 20. The village is busily simmering away. I asked recently, can a viaduct simmer in the background? Of course it can. If steam engines can. I suppose they have fires in them, but this is all rather lovely. The battery is now flat for sure on the street organ. It was a neighbour that came by quite late. They have a son that when he does certain things and has learned certain things, the treat is to come and see Mr. Ian's trains, and they just show up. So that was the rather lovely surprise. It does show that one of the things I do at the end of every video, I try to have a running session. Part of the reason is I want to be able to run the trains. So if we do get people come by to see, that you can't say, well, it's a bit awkward right now. My workbench is a total disaster area, but other than that, we were in reasonably good shape to run trains. So they asked, what are all those things? I said, well, that's a cargo that got spilt that needs to go into this wagon. So I had an answer for pretty much everything. I did not run the Gronk. Don't like it running long distances. So in the next couple of videos, we will get the canopy on, the lights into the station platforms, and some lights underneath the viaduct there. Do you see the white wall back there? I'm still thinking I'm going to have to do something back there if I'm going to put lights under there. We'll see. Number of additional suggestions I have taken on board. Add some weight to this Martin, sounds like a good idea. Perhaps lubricate the axles, sounds like another good idea. Get a strain gauge to figure out how much its pulling power is and compare it to Winston Churchill. Could do that, but and I should have, one thing I did miss, I should have run Winston Churchill on the front of that rake of coaches to see if its wheels slip. I didn't. But relatively scientific, we only clean the wheels and now Martin navigates the incline nicely. Anyway, that's another videoed, and I'll see you next time. Don't forget to click on the other video. There might be something you've missed. Who knows? Thanks for watching now. Bye-bye.